Welcome to Kath and Mikey Make a Podcast, episode 8.
8?
Yeah, we're on episode 8.
Holy crap!
Anyways, I'm Mikey, and this is my co-host, Kath. I was about to say your
Hey.
co-host, but she's my co-host.
And only mine. That's
And
weird.
in this episode 8, we're talking about Wandavision episode 5.
Yeah, I think I already commented to you that I measure my weeks in WandaVision episodes. I don't know how sad that is, but I kind of like it. So
No,
I'm
me
okay
too.
with this.
High five.
High five.
In the air. I
In
don't
the
want the
air.
mic to pick it up.
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Wow, what an episode this has been.
You mean the one we just did right now? It's over?
No, I mean the WandaVision episode.
What an episode. As
Wow.
in, by far, my favorite episode. It has
Yeah.
dethroned episode 2. And I know we must sound like broken records, but it just keeps getting better.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
It's the Wanda that keeps on visioning. Thank you for laughing.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Mikey.
Do you want to introduce this episode to me, the viewer, who I haven't seen it? Can you please explain
Liar,
this
liar.
episode to me before we talk about it?
I will, Mikey. I will explain it. Well, this episode, it's set in the 80s. We've gotten to the 80s, which is great. This episode, the intro is, I think it's great. This episode obviously has been inspired by many 80s sitcoms, including Family Ties, Full House, Growing Pains.
And the picture of Baby Vision has inspired the hearts and minds of a generation.
That's from, did I say, I think that's from Growing Pains.
Yeah.
It's also been inspired by Roseanne, Who's the Boss, Just the 10 of Us, which is a spin-off from Growing Pains.
The way she dressed kind of felt Roseanne-y, right?
Yeah, that's, and the baskets, carrying the baskets around, that's
Yeah.
kind of felt Roseanne. So it's set in the 80s, and it starts with Wanda and Vision trying to get the babies to go to sleep because they haven't slept in days. And it's Tommy and Billy, their babies, and all of a sudden Agnes dun dun, comes into scene.
Yeah, and
Just
right
to
at the
help.
start, Vision is in a different mood, right?
Yeah,
Like
definitely. He's in like,
he's already recognizing the tropes. He's saying, I had a feeling somebody was about to ding at the door with exactly what we needed.
No,
Was
that's later.
That's later with the doghouse?
but that's when he's like kind of noticing things.
Yeah.
But right now, just Agnes comes in like, hey, I was just going to my jazzercise and I heard you two like having trouble with something, and just being Agnes, and she offers to help the boys, and that just from the get go we get a scene where it's like breaking character.
Yes.
And it's Agnes breaking character, and because I think that Agnes is like, oh, I'll just take care of the babies. And then Vision is like, oh, I don't know. Have you washed your hands? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, maybe you shouldn't. And then it's like this awkward radio silence. Like, and she just goes like, she talks to
Should I
Wanda.
take that again?
And she says, do you want me to take that again?
Yeah.
And then they go like,
And
what? And
she's-
she says, yeah, do you want me to should we take this from the top? It's like an actress kind of like
And
forgetting her
she
lines.
she plays that switch so beautifully, and she's not the only actor in this to do it in this episode, to do that switch from I know what's going on to I have no idea. But I just love how the way she talked to Wanda was just like talking to a boss, like
Or like a
"Oh,
director.
I'm yeah, like a director. Like I'm sorry.
Should we do this again? Do you want me to take
Yeah.
it? Yeah, it's very, very weird and interesting and amazing. And then that's when Vision first question, like, didn't you just notice that? It was so weird. And Wanda's like, no, it's just she's just being
Yeah,
Agnes.
and
Like,
he's
what are you talking about?
finally refusing to take her explanations at face value.
Yeah, and so she kind of like something, she's like something, he notices there's something strange about this, and then we still get like Agnes just goes back into character, and she just starts like doing comically comic relief things like of like pacifying the boys and like looking up in the cabinet for like dark liquor. Oh, it's not for me, it's for the babies. Like, what kind of babysitter do you think I am?
But it's
Laugh
so
track.
hard to find it funny and
Because they're
charming
having the
after.
discussion on the other side.
Well, not only that, but after she's already broken character, it's
Hmm.
like, oh God.
Yeah,
Like,
you're just like, what is happening? You feel like Vision at that moment.
hmm
You're like, he's the audience at this point. Like, what just
yeah.
happened?
This is before we know the people who are affected by this field are experiencing pain, but
Which we'll get into.
after talking to Wanda like a boss, it just feels like, oh God, she's constantly being supervised. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she cannot relax for a moment,
Mm-hmm.
which
Yeah.
makes it hard to find it charming and funny.
Yeah. There's this facade of the sitcom, but as always in this show, there's the undertone
Hmm
of like, oh gosh, these people. What's happening to
And
these
this is
people?
something you told me earlier. The more that the audience, or rather, the more Wanda loses control, the more the sitcom structure crumbles for the audience.
The illusion.
Like, it's
Yeah.
so hard to enjoy it
Mm-hmm.
the more you find
And
out.
like we'll see, it breaks. You get scenes from the real world now. It's not just a sitcom what you're
Yeah,
watching. So they all of a sudden they're interrupted from their conversation, Vision and Wanda, because they notice their silence. They can't find the twins in their cribs, and they see that they've grown. They've aged 5 years, the twins, which is
normal.
totally normal.
Yeah.
And Agnes finds it totally normal too, apparently.
My kid is already 85.
Yeah, he's older than me now.
Yeah.
I have to take care of him again.
They grow up so fast, literally so
Literally
fast.
so fast. Uh, and then a dog appears out of nowhere, which the twins want to adopt. Wanda's okay with it.
They apparently found it outside. They're bathing it in the kitchen sink.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that. And but before that, we get a break from the twins. I mean, from the sitcom, and we go back to the real world where they're
Yeah.
doing a scan analysis on
Which this is the
Monica.
first time that they're really cutting between the two, and it's exciting.
Yeah, it is. Which this is why I said the comment of like, oh, the illusion is breaking for us. Like we get to see what's happening parallel to what's happening in the sitcom, and Monica gets like an analysis done to her and scans, which they all come up blank. I have comments on that.
Sorry, everybody. Catherine had a coughing fit, but she's gonna continue now. Drink much, Catherine?
Hey, I'm just having a smoothie here. I don't know
Yeah,
what you're talking about.
me too.
Um, then the dog appears in their house, and they're like, "Oh, you can't have a dog until you're like 10." And they look at each other, and they age again, and now they're 10 years old.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Agnes comes in with exactly what they need, which Vision notices. That she comes in with a dog house, and they're like, "Oh, and what should we name him?" Blah blah blah, and they call him Sparky
Sparky, because he tries to kill himself immediately.
with a plug. You might not get this reference, but
Hmm.
this is Sparky is a character in the Vision comic, which I've told you to
Oh,
read many times now.
okay. Not
And
everybody has the time.
he comes up in Vision issue number 8.
Yeah.
Um, should I spoil it, or do you not want to be
Yeah, go
spoiled?
for it.
So Sparky is in the comic book. He's originally Zeke. He's a normal, regular dog from a neighbor. He goes in to he like gets into the Vision family property. He meddles into things he shouldn't be. He like digs a
Oh
little
my god,
for
does Vision make a synthezoid dog?
yeah. That's Sparky.
Oh my
Sparky is the
goodness.
synthesoid. So Zeke gets like literally electrocuted by something he finds in the backyard, which I won't tell you.
Yeah.
And they find him, and then Vision makes a synthesoid dog with the brainwaves of Zeke, and they call him Sparky. And he's an adorable green dog, green synthesoid dog.
Oh,
He flies too, just like the Vision family.
everybody likes dogs.
Yeah, everybody, and he's great. Period.
I mean, I know it was a fake audience awe, like the Marvel execs probably held up a card, you awe now.
No.
You are not gonna fuck this
Fucking no.
up.
Just do it. Just fucking do it.
But they didn't need to.
No,
Because I was like, oh, look at the
dog.
little dog in a sink.
Yeah, so
Dogs
Sparky.
don't belong there.
Yeah, he's adorable. So yeah, it starts with Sparky is actually dead, and he becomes a synthesoid dog in the comic book.
Yes.
But so that's why I was like, oh, they call him Sparky. But at the same time, I was like, no, Sparky is another dog. Don't fucking call him Sparky. Anyway, Wanda kind of like, creates, like snaps and creates a collar for Sparky out of thin air in front of Agnes, which Vision also questioned. It's all about Vision questioning things in this episode.
Yeah,
Really.
it was the one thing, the one rule she established in this place that Vision was basically born into because he
Yes.
can't remember anything before it. And she's breaking it. Like, so what's left for him, really?
I think that it's like her goal is to eventually be able to display all her powers before everyone, like be herself, and which is what she tells
And
him.
Vision be himself.
Exactly. Eventually, she's like, "And you can also be like yourself." But he's like, "Meet more, did not compute," kind of
It makes you wonder,
reaction.
her saying later in the episode, that I don't remember how this all started. Was it her rule that nobody can know what she can do?
Uh,
Or was it pre-established and she wants to break out of that?
I don't know.
Or maybe she just changed her mind. But yeah,
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah. So there's this issue. Then Vision goes to work. This is all I'm kind of talking about the sitcom part. Vision goes to work.
This is important though.
Yes, though. At the workplace, I guess they're bringing out the computer because it's the 80s now, and they have the
Cutting
computers
edge.
and they have internet. Which I'm not so sure it was commercially available in the 80s. Like I'm
Vision
we're
must
from
have
the
spent
90s, and
so many monies
not
on 80s internet.
I mean, not Vision, but Mr. Hart
Mr. Hart, he convinced Mr. Hart.
to spend so many monies in internet. But
We
they have
need
dial-up.
Have you ever heard of Flash games, Mr. Hart? Have you ever heard of CartoonNetwork.com, dummy?
While they're like looking at the computer, they got an electronic mail or email into their computer, and it turns out it's an email from Darcy Lewis to what it seems to be the chain of command, talking about the Maximoff anomaly. And then she says, please advise. It's very like, like a chain of command email, like a report to a chain of command.
And it very much seems not directed to them in any way. So it seems like he just so happened to pick up the frequency because it's already established in the last episode that the frequencies from the two worlds can cross.
Yeah, which at some level, I think that it might be that. On another level, being more sinister over here, or conspiratory. I feel like it might be Wanda.
Self-sabotaging?
No, like monitoring. Like it's a way of like the WandaVision world monitoring the other world.
But it accidentally makes it two-way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then again,
That's interesting.
and that scene, it's kind of eerie. We like I said, we can talk about it later. In order to finish the summary.
we're on that scene. We could talk about it right now.
Okay. Well, the eerie part is that everyone starts reading the email at the same time, and then they start laughing, and then he says,
At the exact same time.
yeah, and then I think he said it's a joke. Like none of it is real. Haha. Why don't you respond? You're the funny guy.
Yeah.
and, and that's when Vision kind of like makes it disappear and
Such a
then he goes,
communist thing to say.
yeah.
Classic Norm.
Classic Norm the communist. And and Norm and then he goes into Norm's mind and like gets into the real Norm.
And
Well, the
this is
real
the first
person.
time we're shown that Vision has that ability to
Mm-hmm.
access people's real memories and bypass
And
Wanda's
he's like an actual
illusion.
human being in pain, and so much pain. And he has like a real life and like a dad that's dying and a sister taking care of him. And it's like,
Yeah,
oh my
it's
God.
intense.
Yeah, it's intense because already from episode 4, you see that these are real people, but you only see them in a board.
By this
Like missing
point,
persons
has
in a board.
Wanda, or rather Monica, has she already said that it's a painful experience?
Yeah, she's already
Yeah,
said it. Like I said, I'm only describing the sitcom part.
yeah.
Um,
Oh, I see.
in
Okay.
the real world, Monica, we've already seen that her scans don't show up; they all come blank. Her blood tests all come blank, um, and they give
She,
like a. She goes into like a briefing, and the director, I think, is being weird. Like Jimmy Woo is kind of giving like a summary of who Wanda is, like
he's
what the
definitely
intel they know.
coming off way worse than he was initially.
Yeah, he's coming off as like kind of a dick.
It makes you wonder whether Monica's mom actually put that order in place, right? Of Monica being grounded. Yeah.
It makes it makes you question everything.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the only one left. That's what they say, and that's why he's the acting director.
Yeah, that's what he told her.
Yeah, but it makes you question. Kind of like reminds me kind of a bit of Captain America slash the
Nick
Agents
Fury.
of Shield. Do you remember? The whole Hydra situation.
Yeah, yeah.
When you kind of like start questioning everything, like, wait, who is
I
this
actually
character?
got
Who's this character?
those vibes, when in the Winter Soldier where he's
Yeah,
like,
Winter Soldier, that's the one.
this isn't freedom, this is fear.
Mm-hmm.
I sort of got that feeling when Monica and him were walking through the hangar, and she was and he was saying there are a lot of enemies out there, and she's like, yeah, there are also allies.
Mm-hmm.
The way she was looking at him was like she was kind of suspicious, but it was a lot lighter than how
It just looked like she had a
aggressively.
better understanding of the situation than he did.
Yes.
But from now watching this episode, it's either Monica is a more open-minded person than he is, or he has an agenda and
I think
she's
he
not in the
definitely
loop.
has an agenda, and he's coming across as much more of a clear-cut dick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
than in the previous episode. And they bring up the Sokovia Accords, which Vision, according to Section 36B. You can't find the actual text in
My
the
God.
internet. I looked, and I had to do the research.
I love that you did that.
What?
I love
the
that you did
research?
that research, yeah.
I mean, it's in my nature at this point. I went 3 years of law school. What can I say?
Yeah, when he was so
but-
specific, I was like, wow, Jimmy Woo did his studying. I mean, I
Yeah.
know he's an FBI agent.
I am Jimmy Woo. Oh God, no. But
Chip, yeah,
apparently,
sure.
according to the Section 36B of the Sokovia Accords, Vision isn't supposed to be used as a weapon.
Yeah.
And according to his living will, he didn't want to be used as a weapon. And at this point, before Wanda, which we come to know, Wanda broke into a top secret location to steal Vision's
Yeah, which we get to
body,
see
which we get to see through
on
footage.
camera footage.
Yeah. And his body apparently was being analyzed, for science kind of thing.
Torn on 5 different tables.
Yeah, it looked.
Yeah, I didn't know he had all of those little cords.
Yeah, if I had been Wanda, like completely grief stricken.
I would
as she
hate
was.
Sword.
And then when she got there, she sees that the person that she loves, who's dead, is like separated in 5 different
Just being
tables.
torn apart and analyzed like
I
he
would have
wasn't ever
been,
alive.
I would have been beyond pissed.
Yeah,
So I get her. I get her, like, fuck sword
for sure.
attitude. It's fine with me. Um, and they also come to learn that Wanda is rewriting reality. In that, for instance, when Monica went in, she was wearing a Kevlar vest. And then when she comes out in her like groovy 70s outfit, the outfit she was wearing was like 80 something, 85 or 86% Kevlar.
Oh
So it
yeah.
means that she's rewriting, literally like molding reality.
Yes.
She just took what she had on and like kept changing it,
What I mean,
which is
Monica
interesting.
had to really be thinking about this to make that demonstration.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, "Hang on,
Yeah, hang on
just
a
real
sec.
quick, let me test this
Oh, boom,
theory."
boom, boom. That was a cool scene, I thought.
Yeah, it was.
Like showing Monica's character.
I thought, Monica, you should make a suit out of this.
Just make a suit. And back in the sitcom, Vision is kind of like getting into what's happening and all of that. And Monica gets the idea of sending in a drone because since she realizes that the drone things that go in are trying to mold to the reality at the time within the hex, quote unquote. I have things to say about that word. Uh,
You're not the only
they
one.
mold to the reality it's being portrayed there. What she does is she sends a drone from the 80s with technology of the 80s,
Yeah.
so it doesn't have to change. It just
Smart
stays
idea.
the same. Yeah, it's pretty smart.
Yeah.
They sent a drone. In the sitcom, Wanda is like talking to her kids because they're teaching the dog tricks, and she's talking about how Daddy had to go to work, but it's Saturday. It's Monday. No, but it was Saturday this morning. Like the kids know. The kids know.
Yeah.
Oh, we just had a we just never in the same, not sometimes on the same page.
Yeah, hey, what
And
if you both
sometimes.
stopped being a little bitch? How about that?
And yeah.
That's true, mommy.
Yeah, mommy, I guess so. So Wanda goes outside to see what's happening. She sees the drone, and like a boss ass bitch she grabs the drone and leaves her bubble to go out
I
and meet
I'm
Sword
sure you
face to
remember my
face.
reaction when we were both watching this, but I was like, please, I hope it's her that comes out of the bubble.
Oh yeah, and it
And it
was her. It paid
was,
off.
and her
Ugh.
coat was flowing beautifully, and she looked awesome. And as I mentioned to you before,
She
that,
throws the drone at their feet.
oh yeah, yeah,
I believe
I,
this is yours.
yeah, yeah. She felt
Amazing.
like, in that moment to me, she felt like she upgraded to a Marvel side character to a Marvel main character.
Yeah. She is the Avenger we know her to be in the comics. Oh,
But
I
not
wanted
only
to.
that,
Uh huh.
but like I said to you before, that scene was very X-Men. Specifically, it reminded me of Magneto in the first X-Men movie pointing all the police's guns back at them, which
Mm-hmm.
she did back directly at the director of Sword.
Acting director.
But it's also this thing of, yeah, she's hurting other people for sure.
Yeah.
But she's like, it feels very X-Men in the way that she's like, I'm not ashamed of my power and I'm not going to allow any of you to impose on it.
Yeah, and she even says, "Oh, He says like, "Oh, you have people hostage," and she's like, "Well, I'm not the one like holding the guns."
Mm-hmm.
Which is like, yeah, but
Yeah.
also you have a gun of your own.
But in a way, what you're doing is way worse, and that's
It's
not a
called
good
mind
argument,
control.
Wanda.
Wanda. Hey, Wandy, how about you stop mind controlling people?
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. What if you die? Yeah, you're right. I should leave.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. The thing is that actually infuriates her is that the drone actually has a missile, which Monica
Yeah.
doesn't know about. And Monica tries to like calm the situation down, like, well, actually, I'm an ally. and you know this. That's why you let me in the first
Yeah,
place.
and she was lied to.
Yeah.
I was told there were no weapons on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So Wanda goes back, and like it seems that she like makes an even stronger shield
Also,
into the hex.
I'm sorry, real quick. A missile?
Like what the
Is he
fuck?
serious?
Like really a missile? I hope it's like a very short range missile that only hits Wanda, because you have a whole
Yeah.
town, pal. A whole town of people. Anyway.
And also, uh,
I mean that's
just how, even if
federal
it was a
government for
short
you.
range missile that was just Wanda, no collateral damage, which I'm sure he didn't care about, it's just like, why the fuck do you think that would work?
Yeah, like she's still like
How do you know how
Monica
her
even
powers
pointed
work?
out like she could have taken Thanos down
Mm-hmm.
if it wasn't for the blip.
Her
Like
no, if it wasn't for
single-handedly.
him raining fire, which was how he got out of that. She was literally crushing his body, and he goes rain fire, and he's like, "But sir, our men." It's like, "Just do it." And he rains fire on the entire army, his men and the Avengers.
Yeah.
That's what he had to do to get out of what she was doing. How do you know how her powers work? What if she can instantaneously rewrite reality?
They don't even understand the extent of her power. Like I've said before, in the comics, she deals. Well, that this is why I have a qualm with the
The hex
hex.
thing, the
Yeah, they call it hex
explanation.
because the shape is hexagonal. But that's how she handles her chaos magic. She handles it through hexes. She's an actual witch in the
Well,
comics.
Catherine, I have an explanation for you. Well, your people call it magic. Catherine, your phone is really.
Really? Is it my phone? All these awkward pauses.
Yeah.
Anyway, after Wanda goes back into her hex or the quarantine bubble she's created, we cut back into an ad. We have another ad, which I don't think we had last episode.
Mm-mm, it was all real
And
world last episode.
I missed it.
Pretty
I missed
much.
ad. Yeah, that's true.
I missed it too.
So in this episode, we got an ad for Lagos paper towels
It looks very absorbent.
for when you make a mess you didn't want to.
What could it mean?
Well, you didn't mean to. That's what it says. For when you make a mess you didn't mean to.
Yeah.
What does it mean? I think your theory that these are all like the ads are Wanda's traumas is coming to fruition.
But now that I'm thinking about it, I think it might also be a clue to what's actually going on. Because
How so?
well, they're all trying to point you, all the characters, I mean, and the show itself is trying to point you to the idea that Wanda is the one causing all of this mess. And we're halfway through a mystery series, which means it's almost certainly not all Wanda.
Yeah.
And I think this is a clue because if she is creating all of this, why would she create these ads that just serve to, they're weird like little jokes that it's like, haha, remember when I was really sad or when this awful thing happened to me?
Yeah.
Why would you make that? You wouldn't.
It's almost like taunting. It's taunting her.
It's in a way,
If you
yeah.
see it from that side, yeah, it's taunting her and like yeah, jokingly making her feel horrible.
And if, her and Vision watch TV maybe and those ads come on, there will be these moments where Vision's like, oh, it's those same people again. They're like in all the ads. And she's
Yeah.
sitting there like,
Since Vision now it's finally catching on to things.
yeah.
But after we go back into Westview, and after the ad, Wanda is with the kids looking for Sparky, who has escaped from the house, and then they find Sparky through Agnes again.
Has him wrapped up in a blanket,
Yeah, he
crying.
dies. Why must they kill Sparky? I mean, he dies in the original comics.
Well, it was pretty funny.
it was funny that the love, like the adorable dog died.
I thought it was weird that you didn't
No,
laugh at
no,
that when that.
leave it at that. No, I think now we got the comments on tape. Yeah,
Hmm.
we can move on.
Yeah, you realize
Is that how you,
I
yeah, you're gonna
edit
leave it like
this.
that. Okay, yeah.
I can make you sound
You heard
however
it
I
here
want.
first. Mikey thinks that it's okay and funny that the dog died.
I'm gonna make you call yourself like a butthead or something. It's gonna be so embarrassing for you.
When you edit this, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Like, great going. But yeah, I wrote down why. But yeah, I hope they bring him back to life. Please, Mava, sir.
Sparky.
Can I have some more
You want your
Sparky?
your synthesoid dog?
Yeah. Bunch of cowards. Yeah, I want the synthesoid dog. Yeah.
You know, back in my day, we just called them androids.
But it's different.
How?
Aren't synthesoids like half machine, but they're still part human, and there's also brain waves involved? At least
What are
the
androids?
comics. What?
What are androids?
Full on machines?
Because what you're calling synthesoid, I thought it was a cyborg.
Meat more. I don't know. No, that's an interesting question.
Yeah.
I had to do more research on this. I don't know.
Well, where I'm from, they call them terminators.
Okay.
And where you're from, I'm not
When I-
sure. You seem confused. What do they call them where you're from?
They just call them synthesoids.
Yeah, robots. You're right.
Where I'm from, which is the Marvel universe,
Really?
call them synthesoids.
You're just
Yeah.
like a civilian?
Yeah, I'm one of the civilians, but not in like anywhere near the danger.
No?
I'm just
Just
like,
like far-
I see it. Everything I see, it's on TV. And I'm like, oh wow.
Yeah, before work
the
you're like,
Avengers
oh
are at it
shit.
again. Where we're being invaded?
And somebody asks at work, I feel like they cause all the trouble that happens.
And I'm like, maybe.
Maybe.
But
I'm not close enough to them to know.
Are governments really doing anything?
Yeah.
And then we just leave it at that. It's
Did
like
you-
a pup conversation, like that we're seeing them on the TV, and it's like,
Did you see
I don't know any metahumans. So
Spider-Man
I
at
don't
that
care.
press conference? He sounds like a child, like a literal child.
He's probably a child. That's my theory. He is.
Didn't Tony Stark recruit him after signing the Sokovia Accords? He recruited a child?
Oh right, isn't that like child abuse? God,
It sounds
that's why
like
Stark's such a dick.
Child endangerment for sure.
Like I feel like I'm so like NPC that I probably disappeared in the blip. And
Yeah.
I came back 5 years later and I was like, what?
When stuff
What?
is actually happening, because I'm sure nothing happened in those 5 years. Like Hawkeye didn't get a weird dumb haircut.
He didn't become Ronin or anything.
Yeah,
Nothing
no.
dumb like that.
Like what
No
side
weird,
story?
stupid name.
Black Widow showed up and she's like, "What are you doing? Come home. This is a weird phase you're going through."
Yeah, let's a phase. Like, how would you put that down? Where are
And he
your
was like,
arrows? You
"Don't
should
give me
stick to
hope."
arrows.
And she was like, "What do you think I said?" Because I feel like you're just ignoring me.
This entire time. Can you put down whatever it is you're holding? I have your arrows in storage and your bow. You seem to be good with that, so let's get back to that.
He just
okay?
looks down and he's like, "My haircut's not dumb.
And she's
Not
like,
dumb.
I didn't say anything about your haircut.
I'm
Like,
not-
I didn't
I'm-
say that you did.
I'm not too old for it. Looks good."
Okay, Clint. Let's get you home.
Hey, remember when you tried to be the newborn identity?
But in well, Sparky dies.
Yeah,
For
he
chagrin.
ate the lavender.
Was it lavender?
Was it
It
lavender?
was like azaleas or something.
Oh yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah,
you die. You can
she
make lavender
sprayed the
cakes.
babies earlier. with
Then
the-
again,
people theorize that that's a spell, because they aged up right after she sprays the lavender on them, and she said that Ralph uses it on her at night, but it was a joke, because sitcom.
oh, yeah, but
Yeah.
you think it's a spell and not that they possessed Wanda's qualities?
I think it's the second one. I just thought it was worth mentioning because you never know.
Yeah, you never know
Yeah.
with Marvel, sneaky Marvel,
They are sneaky, and
so
actually, a
sneaky.
lot of people's theories are turning out to be right.
Yeah,
But even though they had the theories, the way it's unfolding is still cool.
yeah. It's cool that having knowledge of the comics kind of. I don't know. I think we're finally at a point where we can rely on the comics to appreciate the characters
Hmm.
of comic book characters. Like, I feel like there was a time where the comics didn't matter, and it was just like, oh, this character on TV that has the same name as a character you like
Oh
from your
yeah,
childhood,
yeah, yeah.
but nothing to do with that character.
I
Please
feel
watch
like
it.
we weren't getting a grip as a species until the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, I think it's just studios didn't care because they thought that, or no, I there were obviously fans that cared,
Oh
but
yeah,
they didn't speak loud enough, or the studios weren't hearing them, even if they spoke loud
yeah.
enough.
Well, I think because of the internet and
Mm-hmm.
because of the success of X-Men and Spider-Man, what those people were saying got magnified,
Mm-hmm.
and people were like, "Oh, the
All right, the
stupid
nerds. Oh,
the
I guess we do have to listen to them.
those cartoons
Jesus.
that you read actually they're pretty cool."
Yeah, I guess they do translate to TV and cinema. Huh.
And they're like, "Oh my god, I told you," and they were like, "Oh, relax. I liked this one."
We're just gonna take these things you might like, ignore other things,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and you're still gonna watch it.
I mean, they still change a lot, but I think
Oh yeah,
yeah,
they've changed a lot. Like, but
reading the source
there's
material enhances it.
yeah, and it adds a nice flavor. At least with WandaVision, like there are things that you recognize, and you're like, oh, that's from that, and that's from this, and this. And it's not exactly the same. I don't mind when you
No.
change. I don't mind when I don't. I'm not a purist anymore. I don't mind when studios and directors change things from the comics. You
Yeah.
just have to do it well enough that it's still
Yeah,
good TV and it's
for
still
sure.
good cinema. There's a
No, it's true
difference.
because like one of two things are
Mm-hmm.
usually happening, and it's either they subvert your expectations in a good way,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully, from what you expected based on the comic storyline,
Yeah.
or they show you exactly what you saw, and you're like, oh shit, it's amazing. That's exactly how I imagined that.
It's, for instance, in Jessica Jones, the first season, they did that. It's not
Mm-hmm.
frame by frame, the Alias comic, but there are things that are in the comics. There are characters that are in the comics, and they make it better.
Yes.
And I said season one specifically because
Specifically.
we don't acknowledge the other two seasons. Season two is okay. I kind
I'm
of when I
trying
saw
to
it,
understand what you mean.
I attributed season two to the second season dip some shows have.
Yeah.
Season three, I can't finish it for some
The
reason.
dip that you're talking about is where I dipped out. Like I stopped
I watched
watching
season two.
pretty much after the Hogarth drugs and sex and like the drugs and hooker scene. I was like, all right, I'm over it.
Over
I
this
don't
shit.
care. You're clearly padding these 40-minute episodes. How dare you? At least WandaVision is concise. Like, it's a little frustrating that it's like, fuck, I have to wait another week.
Mm-hmm.
But at least what they give you is good.
Yeah, and that's why you're like, fuck, I have to wait another week because it's so good.
And it's good
But
quality. You're never like, Netflix did not want to spend money.
no, yeah, I don't. Like I said, I that's how I saw it at the time.
Yeah.
Now thinking, like, and after watching like maybe how many episodes? 6 episodes, 5 from season 3. I'm like, yeah, fuck this. Season 1 is the only thing I'm acknowledging it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what?
But,
No.
like I've mentioned to you before, Kevin Feige likes Jessica Jones.
No, yeah, I'm glad.
And she may very well show up in She-Hulk, which
Oh
is good.
yes.
She might show up in something that's as quality as Kristen Ritter. Like, she deserves that.
Yeah, and she's good, and she's a good Jessica Jones.
From
Then again,
Breaking
she's the
Bad,
only.
I
I
was
think she's the
excited that she got
only.
cast.
Yeah, she's the only Jessica Jones we've seen on the screen,
Ever,
but
yeah.
she's a pretty good Jessica Jones, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I'm also happy we have Tatiana Maslany possibly as She-Hulk.
She-Hulk, not possibly, definitely.
Definitely,
Even though
yeah.
she was like, I don't know. No.
No, yes,
Stop
maybe.
being coy.
Yes.
Seriously. Stop.
Thanks.
Stop.
Stop. You're amazing. Anyway, and it's interesting that scene. I'm going back to the Sparky scene. The death of Sparky.
Just real quick, I'm sorry that I called her NDA coy.
Her what?
Her NDA.
Oh, her NDA.
She's like, no, you don't understand. I could die.
I could lose everything.
I will never financially recover from this. Okay, yeah, Sparky died.
Yeah, and I think it's Tommy and Billy. Tommy says, "You can fix anything, Mom. Fix the dead." It's like, oh, Tommy, I don't think you know what you're saying. But they kind of
Fix
seem like
the
they're gonna
dead,
age
Mommy.
up, and she's like, "No, you can't age up whenever anything's painful, and can't bring back the dead." And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it kind of feels like she's oh, I don't know how to say this in English. But when you're like preaching from a place where you shouldn't be preaching from,
The irony in it.
yeah,
And I
there's an
think
irony
based
there.
on her face, she recognized
Definitely.
that,
She's like,
she's
I just
the
brought your dad back
reason-
from the dead, but
the
you
reason she
can't.
has this like she has this like cognitive dissonance that you can see on her face is because she knows shit is going wrong because she is trying to disrupt the order of things. And her telling this to her kids means she knows what she's doing is wrong. But she is so grief-stricken that overtakes whatever truth she knows.
Yeah. Well, it ends up that she doesn't bring Sparky back to life.
No.
I don't know. Ugh. Anyway, uh, and then it cuts back to the Wanda and Vision in the
Vision
in the kitchen.
also showed up.
Yeah, he shows up and
He was like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, they explain. And he's like comforting the
Right,
kids.
actually, right when the kids are talking about bringing people back, he was like,
Bringing who
can't,
back?
yeah, can't bring what back?"
Yeah.
And I love that because they let that moment breathe for a second. Like there was a brief silence as Vision is on screen. It's very
You.
sad, very
It's
well done.
you. No. Maybe. When they're back at the house, at the kitchen, that's another significant moment. Well, there's more to come after that. But
That's my favorite moment.
Vision tells Wanda, like, oh, I talked to Norm. And she's like, oh.
I spoke
Like,
to
what
his
about it?
subconscious free of your oversight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he tries to, like, she doesn't want to, like, talk about it. And he's like, oh, what are we going to do now? Like, watch TV, go to bed so you can change this
You can't
all over
control me
again.
like you control them.
Yeah, and then he says, you can't control me how you control them. And she responds, can't I? And the credits roll. Like,
But
it's
she
the
and
end.
she looks at him kind of like just like fuck you, how dare you.
Yeah, like, bitch, just watch me.
Yeah. And then she walks away, credits roll, and he's like, "No."
Yeah, no, I
And he
like
follows
that.
her.
I like how they're fighting through the credits.
Yeah.
Like that, this is like you think it's gonna be over, and you're like, "Fuck," but then it's not over, and you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, give me
How
more."
he doesn't allow it to end because in a way we've been shown that she can subdue him if she wants to, but in a lot of ways they're on the same level. They get their power from the same place.
Yeah.
And he actually says to her, so often we're of the same mind.
Oh.
And they're
so-
literally both from the Mind Stone.
Oh, really? No.
Yeah, the Mind Stone. That was
Yeah.
in Loki's staff.
Mm,
Yep.
no, he's from the Mind Stone.
Yep. And she got her
She's-
powers from the Mind Stone.
Really?
Yep. That Strucker had Loki's staff. And at the beginning of
Okay.
Age of Ultron, when they break into that facility where Wanda and Pietro got their powers, Tony takes it back. Then Ultron breaks the staff, and inside is the Mind
Oh.
Stone.
Really?
Yeah, that's how he's able to control Clint in the first Avengers.
Oh. Why was I thinking that she got her powers from somewhere else? I need to revisit Age of Ultron. I keep
Yeah,
forgetting
it's been a
what
while.
happens in the movies because
It's been a
it's
long
nothing really
time.
like the comics. I keep
It's
thinking back
been
to the
7
comics.
years since
Jesus
Age of
Christ.
Ultron.
A lot has happened.
Yeah,
7 years. So excuse me for not remembering.
like you're totally excused.
And but then they keep fighting, and she they kind of move the conversation back to the kitchen. No, sorry, to the living room.
And the credits
And
immediately stop. Vision is in his true form.
yeah, it's in true form. They kind of like it kind of like buzzes out the credits when he starts yelling, and
Yeah.
then they kind of like stand off.
It
Like
switches from like the fuzzy 70s aesthetic to like modern digital.
a little
Like
bit, yeah.
it's subtle, but it's there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can see everything more sharply. I noticed that too, and they kind of get off in their that standoffish scene where they're
Yes.
both like exhibiting their
Their
full
acting
powers,
is
kind of.
so good
Yeah,
in this scene. It was so satisfying to watch.
yeah, and he he's fighting with her, and she's like, "You never talked to me like this before." And he goes like, "Before what? I can't remember my life before Westview. I don't know who I am."
Yeah.
And she kind of tries to calm him down, saying like, "Well, you're my husband, and you're Billy and Tommy's father. Isn't that enough?" And he kind of calms down. But then
But he doesn't calm
silence.
down because what she said. It's like
No,
he's
because he
realizing.
realizes, which is what I'm gonna say now, that he realizes that he asked her like, "Why are there no children on Westview?"
Yeah.
Which at first we thought it was like, "Oh, that's kind of weird,"
We
but
yeah, we brought
apparently
that up
it's
in our episode 2 recap.
yeah, and apparently that is actually a very real thing. That are no children on Westview.
I love that a detail like that matters, which could have easily been like, yeah, we didn't think to put any kids in.
Yeah, we just didn't cast kids. Like, fuck that.
Yeah.
But no, apparently it is important, and we don't know why. Because Wanda,
And she tries to convince him again.
yeah, Wanda doesn't seem to be totally in control. She says so. She's like, "Do you think I control everything? That I'm controlling people?"
I don't know how all this started.
Yeah, I control people going to their dentist appointments and like walking their dog. I don't control everything.
Which again, going back to those advertisements, he mentioned something like a minute before this where he says it could be that this started subconsciously and you've just now become aware. And I think it's very true to Vision's character that he would recognize that he wouldn't immediately think, oh, she is evil and she needs to be stopped. He'd be like, why would Wanda do something like this? And then he'd try to figure it out. And I think he's right. I think these ads are a manifestation of her subconscious. And this hasn't been revealed yet, but we have the theory, a lot of people have the theory that these shows are things she probably watched at home with Pietro. You know, they're her happy place, also emerged from her subconscious, because why would she do something this weird?
Yeah.
She's not fully in control.
No, definitely. And even though she seems to be in control, or she portrays that, apparently to Sword, she portrays it as such. And they seem to, at least the director seems,
She's basically like, back off of my illusion. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. But there might be something else
But
happening here.
He almost convinces her. He goes, what you're doing is wrong. And you see she's about to cry.
Yeah, and all of a sudden she's gonna say something, and then yeah, I don't remember what he asked her, that she's like gonna say something, and the doorbell rings, and she's like, "I didn't do that," and he looks at her, and she's like, "Oh, you don't believe me," and I like what he said. It's like I'm trying my best, but at this point I'm ignoring statistics entirely.
Yeah.
Which is such a computer thing.
It's very Vision. Yeah.
Yeah, and then she opens the door, and dun dun, they recast Pietro.
As the good Quicksilver.
Yes, so it's revealed finally that Evan Peters it's actually taking up again or reprising his role as
I I
Quicksilver
was
Pietro.
so happy to see him,
Yeah,
and he appeared to our collective gasp.
yeah, including Darcy Lewis. She's the one that says she recast Pietro. And that was a big reveal, and it's funny
Yeah,
that the episode it's it's called on a very special episode because at least I remember that that's how they used to say in like in 80s TV shows and before that of when they have like a very special guest coming in,
people
a
pointed
guest
out that he's
star.
like dressed like John Stamos from Full House.
Yeah, yeah,
Who's
and
the
he has like,
popsicle?
yeah, who's a popsicle? He has like a very, bobbing head kind of attitude. He's like the cool. He's gonna be the
Which
cool
honestly, I
uncle.
could see the X-Men Quicksilver doing that.
Yeah,
And
because
people,
he's a fun Quicksilver, and we
he's
like to have fun
fun.
around
We
here.
do. He was the best part of those movies.
Truly.
I mean, especially Apocalypse, because Days of Future Past was actually pretty good.
Oh yeah, I think that's the best X-Men
Which
movie
it's
of
so
the
funny. Days
Fox
of
ones.
Future Past and Age of Ultron came out like around the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody was talking about, man, X-Men's Quicksilver is way better. And people are speculating, oh, it's Mephisto or it's
Mm-hmm.
Nightmare or something, but other people have also pointed out, on Disney Plus there's this option for the people who are vision impaired, where you can listen to the episode. Like there's
Yeah.
a descriptive option,
Yeah, I know.
and when he shows up, what she says on the official episode is, Pietro from the X-Men movies is standing in the doorway.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So clearly that's what they want you to think. Yeah, pause.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Um, you don't have to pause it.
Yeah, I know.
Cut it out.
By the way, you don't have to whisper it because I'm gonna cut it out anyways.
What?
You don't have to whisper it because I'm gonna cut it out anyways.
Oh, I don't know. I just don't want it to be on tape. Oh, this probably will be on tape. But I don't want you to have the audio of me saying the words.
Okay.
I don't want you to have that intel on me.
I have the intel. I'm just not gonna share it with the world.
Okay.
Don't you trust me?
That's funny.
Mean. Mean.
Such a funny boy.
You're the worst.
Why?
You're like, trust you? That is funny. Sit down. I don't want to see your dance moves.
Say that now.
I mean, you're not wrong. I am saying that now.
Yeah.
Say it later too.
I think my favorite scene with the new Quicksilver is actually is it it's not Days of Future like no. Yeah, it's Days of Future Past where he's doing the whole trying to save everyone from the academy.
Time. No, that's Apocalypse.
Oh.
He does it
Then
to
he is
Sweet
the best thing
Dreams.
about Apocalypse, you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
by
Gosh
far.
darn.
That was the one
Excellent.
scene in that movie where I got excited because his appearance was a surprise. Like, he sort of showed up earlier to be like, Mom, I've been here 10 years since the last movie. I think I'm going to join the X-Men. And then, as the Academy is about to explode, you see his shoe step onto the screen. But,
Oh.
like, everything's in slow motion and you don't realize why until he steps on.
Yeah.
And Sweet Dreams is just a great track.
Yeah,
so
yeah, that's
it
what
was
I was
a perfect moment.
when we first mentioned Pietro here, like immediately that song started playing in my head. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, it's such a good song, and I like that he's listening to it while he's doing all of this.
Yeah.
It's great.
I always liked Evan Peters too, even when he was a weirdo in American Horror Story.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
the best thing of many things. But yeah, that seems to be the whole episode.
Yeah,
Uh, it's good.
it's my favorite so far.
Should we speculate about what Quicksilver will be doing next episode? Do you think it's an illusion? I think that the real Quicksilver, quote unquote, from the MCU
Hmm.
isn't like reprising the role. Besides scheduling conflicts,
I think he would.
it's no, I think he would, but I think it's because she doesn't have the physical body of her brother. It's probably rotting in the dirt
Yes.
somewhere.
Well, yeah. So when she's been talked to about Pietro a lot in the last 2 episodes,
Yeah.
and so she's probably missing him more and more.
And the
It-
fact that she has twins and she used to be a twin, like even more.
It very well could be that she manifested him from a different reality
Could be.
because
We don't know the extent of her
she
powers.
she
like you
has Vision's body,
Mhm.
and he is a synthezoid.
said. Yeah.
So what was taken out of him was the Mind Stone, and maybe her hex is
Mm-hmm.
like a Wi-Fi signal that activates Vision. But when that signal is gone, he doesn't
Yeah.
work anymore.
Okay.
So she doesn't have her brother's body, and even if she did, it's bones by
Yeah.
now. So if her powers are strong enough to rewrite matter and reality, then yeah, maybe she could have subconsciously pulled him out from somewhere else. And
Could
she
be.
recognized him, even though he didn't look like her brother.
Yeah. Yeah, very well could be.
Or it could be an illusion and I would be sad.
Yeah, or it could be Mephisto or whatever
That would make me sad too.
demonic presence is controlling her.
So we've seen from the trailers that Agnes is going to be woken up in the
Yeah.
next episode.
Yeah, it's the next episode. It's the 90s, right? It looks very
Yeah, it's the
Halloween
90s.
Town. I'm excited. Well, not Halloween Town Hocus Pocus, kind of.
Well,
I don't
hopefully
think
they do
I
Friends.
think the Modern Family episodes are gonna be closer to episode 7 or
Yeah,
8
it makes sense.
because that's more modern. But
I mean, I'm hoping they're doing Frasier next episode.
oh, we'll see.
Wanda, the sherry is divine.
I wonder.
Too bad my grumpy father is around. He used to be a cop. He's no fun.
And it's Ultron in a suit. It's Ultron from that SNL sketch.
There was Ultron in an SNL sketch?
Oh, so you haven't seen that sketch?
No.
Oh, might have forgotten to send it to you. There's an SNL sketch of it's Age of Ultron, but as a romantic comedy. Like it's a it's a Scarlett Johansson. She's the host of that episode.
Yeah.
Of that SNL epised, and one of the sketches is Age of Ultron as a rom-com.
Oh my god.
And
Okay, yeah, I did
and
see
the
that.
main character is ScarJo. It's Black Widow.
Yeah.
So it's kind of poking fun of like this is how a female-led superhero movie would look like for Hollywood.
They're like, this
and
is how
Age
Marvel
of
would do
Ultron,
it.
I'm sorry, Ultron. I don't know why I said Age of Ultron. Ultron is like the romantic interest.
Okay.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
I love
and he's
how
in
she
a
like
suit and
she
everything.
breaks a heel at the beginning.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
And she meets him at the park. It's like a businessman in a suit.
But actually maybe they're in love.
Yeah, they are. And at least
Yeah.
in this version. Oh, and Thor is like the gay best friend.
I hope I just
5
connected
million
with what
years
she
later.
said.
He gets a joke.
But I hope that the actual Black Widow movie does not feel like girls get it done.
I don't. From the trailers I've seen, it doesn't feel
It doesn't.
like
No,
that.
it doesn't look like that.
And it has Florence Pugh. Pug.
Yeah, I was
always
just
say it wrong.
Florence Pug.
Pug. Is it pug or puke?
She's just a little pug
Cute little pug. Cute
in
little
like
British
in a
pug.
human robot.
But she's in it.
Excellent
and I
actress.
trust movies where she's in. She's
I
been
just trust
excellent.
dogs.
What?
I just trust dogs generally.
Oh, yeah, but I think we're talking about two different things now.
No, we're talking about Florence Pugh. I'm not letting this go.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, she was great in Midsommar,
Yeah.
which is a fun movie for the whole family, by the way.
Yeah,
You
I
should watch it with
recommend
your kids.
everyone, like everyone, including your grandma, watch this. Watch Midsummer with the whole family
Yeah.
and the dog.
Did we talk about when we probably talked about it, but when they brought up Captain Marvel?
When they brought her up,
Yeah.
did we? I can't remember.
I
It's been
do know that we talked about that scene.
yeah, and Monica seems low key mad.
Yeah, if I listen and this is in, I'll just cut it out, but
I don't think we talked about it to
I
the full extent.
my first reaction to that was, "Oh, she's mad because she never came back. She was best friends with her mom and then she left and her mom was dying and she still didn't show up."
Yeah.
Which is why I was thinking about this girls get it done thing because
Because of Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel, yeah, which I liked.
Yeah,
It
me
was like a pretty
too.
good Marvel movie, but I felt like her characterization was off. Like,
Like a little. I think her. She was at her best when she was riffing off Maria Rambo. Maria is her name. Photon.
oh yeah,
Photon
yeah, yeah.
Rambo.
Their scenes
Uh,
together were the best.
yeah, and I think she's the best part of that movie. I liked
Agreed.
it. I was
And
fine. I
she's
don't
not
have
in it at all.
yeah, I don't have this vile vitriol against
That
Captain Marvel
movie,
that
like, it's so inoffensive.
the whole of YouTube has. I think, and I don't like comparing because I think Wonder Woman came out a little bit before
It
it, and I
did,
don't like comparing
yeah.
the two movies because they're kind of two different characters
No, they are,
in
but
two different universes.
yeah, of course the
Okay.
characters are going to come into comparison because we don't get a lot of female-led superhero
Yeah,
movies. That's the thing. And Wonder Woman is better.
like a better superhero or a better movie.
Movie. Also
Yes, Wonder
superhero.
Woman. Wonder Woman 1, yes.
Wonder Woman 1. Yeah.
The first one, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Captain Marvel is more of a it's more consistent than Wonder Woman 2. She's the reason I had that reaction immediately, like she's mad at her because she didn't show up. I thought like, yeah, actually, she seems kind of cold.
She is. I don't.
Like it is
I
her
don't.
best friend, and she just left. And
And
even
it.
when she shows up in Endgame, she just seems kind of like a Terminator. Like, yeah, you're badass, but like, what else?
Yeah, they didn't really do a good job in giving her an actual personality.
No, there's just nothing there.
Like they're like it's always like you didn't. It felt I don't kind of felt like you didn't used to be like this. You know they didn't give her a personality and they excuse it with oh she doesn't remember who she is kind
But
of
after
thing.
she
But it
does,
feels like a cop out.
it is.
And then she remembers who she is. So it's like
They have work to do, which
there's
um,
there's a Captain Marvel 2 coming up.
Yeah.
So hopefully they'll fix this.
they figured Thor
But
out.
then again, if the rumors turn out to be true that Rogue will be introduced as a villain, it's
Jeez.
please,
I mean,
Marvel.
they're already doing X-Men stuff to everybody's shock and
Please. If
and
it
joy.
does, I think in the comics she trying to remember now, but she like Rogue gets attracted, quote unquote, to Marvel's powers. Captain Marvel's powers, so she sucks all the powers from her, and in sucking all those powers, she loses her personality completely. I think in the comic that's
Who,
how it
Rogue
goes.
or Captain Marvel?
Captain Marvel.
Huh.
So when
for
her
it's
powers
temporary,
come
right?
back, she is not Carol Danvers anymore at that point. It's
Odd.
something like that. I'm okay if anyone corrects me on this, but I think that's how it happens.
I know she's the reason that Rogue can fly, which, her character was way less powerful in the X-Men movies that we got.
Mm-hmm.
And now they can actually do her in a way that we never would have thought possible.
Yeah, because Rogue in the X-Men movies is a good guy. she's a good character. Like
She's a good guy in the comics, but she didn't start out that way.
No, she didn't start out that way. That's not her origin story isn't like that.
But I think they'll do that within a movie if she shows up. Like, she'll be a bad guy at first and then a good guy, just like Wanda.
Yeah, which is fine. It's
Yeah.
not the first time. Like,
No, if they do it well, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
An X-Men show would be great.
yes.
It'd be so good.
Salivating.
Could do so many awesome stories. This show is, at this point, I can say that it's everything that I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
We'll see.
To be decided.
But yeah, our episode was kind of the recap. They were intertwined. So unless you have anything else to say, great episode.
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Would recommend to a friend. No, not yet. I don't want to
Not
say
yet.
10 out of 10
Not quite yet.
But it's going good. Then again, no, I don't want to say. I don't want to jinx it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it to be like a Luke Cage season 1. They got rid of their best thing.
It was weird that they only made half of that season.
They only cared about half of it.
And
then they were
said-
like, fuck it. You know what? Fuck it.
They
We're going to do
announced
12
Jessica
episodes
Jones.
or 13. But the rest is going to be like a big fuck.
Yeah, we only have enough material for half of that, but I think we just make the whole thing.
Yeah, we just
right?
there's some other characters, like lesser characters in the comics.
We
and
don't
we have lesser
necessarily
actors.
like have to write. We just like the characters will be on screen though, and it will run for 40 minutes.
Yeah,
Are you
probably,
threatening me?
And you probably will watch it anyway because at this point, you the viewer are also gonna be like, fuck it.
You dirty, filthy nerds. Get a
You're
life.
Yeah.
Just kidding, watch our show.
Please watch. Yeah, I feel like regarding that, like, who was the actor that played not Cottonhead? Because
Cottonhead? You mean Cottonmouth?
Cottonmouth. Yeah.
Yeah, Cottonmouth, who's now gonna be Blade.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank Jesus.
Thank Jesus.
Thank.
Because
the
he was
Lord.
good, and then they killed him, and the season just went.
Yeah, like I said, they killed off the best thing about that show.
It took a big fart.
Yeah.
And then
It didn't take a big fart. No, if only it was a fart. It was a big shit. That's what it was. Like,
I
big
thought that
dump.
was Iron Fist. Where Luke Cage took a big shit
No,
and
no.
Iron Fist like crawled out and it was like, hey,
Hey,
these
guys.
shows are about to get real bad.
Hey, what's up? No, Iron Fist was more like. It's funny how we just keep talking about Iron Fist, how much we hate it. I said we should do an episode on Iron Fist, but it's just hate watching the show.
We could just make a clip show of every time we bring up Iron Fist.
But Iron Fist is more like I don't know, explosive diarrhea that just keeps on going.
Yeah.
For 2 seasons. Even in between seasons, it just keeps
Put
on
that
going.
on the box. Yeah.
But make it like the most caricaturesque thing you can think of.
Yeah.
And then go batshit crazy while you're doing it.
Yeah. Have fun with it, man.
Yeah, have fun with it. But in the wrong sense of the word.
It's like Daredevil didn't really set that high of a bar. So what people are expecting from these Netflix shows, I mean, come on. It's a comic.
Come on.
It's a comic book.
These are comic books. These are for children.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of are.
And when it took a big shit, Daredevil with his extra senses, his enhanced senses was just like, oh, not gonna step on that.
all the way across town
And
in Hell's Kitchen.
made
He
it
was like,
into
that's potent.
being the only consistently good one, even after he crossed over with the bad ones.
Yeah, like I thought that Daredevil wasn't gonna recover from the Defenders. I was worried.
Well,
But
the
I
Defenders
trust-
was definitely better than Luke Cage and Iron Fist.
Yeah, I guess that when I watched the Defenders, I still had hopes because
yeah.
Jessica Jones was good back then,
And at least you got to see
Daredevil
them
was
together.
amazing, and
She also has one of my favorite lines she ever says.
in
In
the
the
Defenders,
Defenders, yeah.
What is it?
Matt grabs her
Oh.
And she goes, touch me again and I'll punch you so hard that you see.
That's true.
It's my favorite line.
So good. I'll make a scene man out of you.
She's so unpleasant and she does not care that he has a disability.
He does not give a fuck. I love her.
Yeah.
So good. But and I think that when the Defenders came after season 2 of Daredevil, which was also excellent. So I had hope, and I was like, oh, it can't be that. They can't fuck this up. And
I was like, well, they gave Iron Fist a haircut. This could be good.
no. And he's the one that made it worse.
He made it way worse.
Yeah, the failure of the Defenders is that they center it around Iron Fist.
Yep. Well, they were banking on that being good, which is the danger of crossovers, which is why Avengers being good was a miracle and it blew everybody's minds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like nowadays it's like, oh yeah, it's Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
Oh, another one? Okay.
But $3
billion,
back then it was
okay.
like, holy shit.
Yeah. For real.
Yeah.
We're still in a way riding off the success of that.
Mm-hmm.
It happened in 2012.
Yeah.
Almost
Amazing.
10 years ago.
I'm an old woman now.
Yeah, I just saw her life flash before her eyes and then her hair turned gray.
No, it turned just like the white streak. Because rogue.
Sick.
That's
Okay, yeah, this has gone on for so long.
Off the
We're
rails.
like diarrheaing as much as Iron Fist.
Yeah. This
So-
might as well be just another episode.
In itself, right?
Yeah. Too long didn't watch. WandaVision
So good, everybody.
was amazing.
We like the thing that you
Episode
like.
5.
Please give us a like.
Yeah, give us a like.
We'll
Tell your
show for
friends.
anything you want.
Tell your mom.
What
Tell
else
your
do you
dad.
like? You like Birdemic? We'll talk about it.
Tell your dog. Make him watch it and rewatch it. He won't care.
Send us a video of your dog watching.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Send some
Yeah, do
fan
that.
mail to Florence Pug. Thinking of you, Bark Heart.
Bark hard. Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys.
Bye.
Bye.